Cop has been recording his runs as well, and he's been submitting things that are like funny. One of the first in this series was actually his video, and this is a little different than that. I asked him, how his first stream after a long break was, and this is what he told me. So we're going to talk about this today. He said there was one run that had lots of really bad whoopsies and WTF moments, and it was all me, he says. I was the culprit of every single mistake. Please don't watch it. But if you do, you might revoke my license to play WoW. It's the worst key I've ever run. I'm pretty sure I need to rewatch it to see my mistakes so it never happens again. But outside of that, no one else should ever look at it. Except now I'm doing a review on it. So, if you guys didn't see the series that me and Cop did last year about, it was actually not even like 6 months ago. He has extreme anxiety when he was tanking, especially. This was mostly a tanking thing. I don't think he would say he has extreme anxiety just playing the game, just tanking. But this key, I could tell the way he was communicating with me gave him severe anxiety, and he's very, very hard on himself for this. So we're going to take a look at this today, and let this be a lesson to you. If you're watching this and you think, I can't do this, I have something, kind of in my head that's stopping me from succeeding as well. Hopefully, we will help debunk that, So, right out of the gate, yeah, he does not navigate dungeons well. I'll let you know that right now. I imagine that's part of the issue. If you guys have seen some of the quarter stars we've done, it's been kind of wild. So, but yeah, this is going to be like a proper review. I want to help him out, and I want to help others learn too. Step one, go ahead and move that. Definitely want to go ahead and move that frame for the RP of the mobs that is in the dead center of the screen. I don't know how you would ever play the game with that. So that would definitely be where I would start. This is a Sanguine week, so definitely a little bit of a pain in this dungeon. This dungeon is really messy with Sanguine. We are going to clear Thundering, no issues there. That poll, I think this is somebody from the stream because the name sounds really familiar, Zamasu. If it is somebody, let me know. I assume there's not going to be too much to comment on from the tanking perspective, but I could just see like in the way his posture is as well, like he's already kind of nervous. I don't know if this was his first key back. Cop was ill. He took some time away from the game and now he's back, but I think this is like one of his first keys in months, honestly. So maybe not. I don't know if it was the first key of the stream though, because I don't think he would have started with the 16. That doesn't sound like him, but oh, that's funny. So wait, what did we paralyze that? The mob just comes running up. Somebody aggroed it somehow. I don't know if we CC'd it with the rogue or not, because it's the only one that would work, but yeah, this mob is the one that we're supposed to CC out. Quelling Strike, usually Cop has some issues seeing that. I don't know. This is something that you always just want. I think you always just want to use details, or you always just want to use Plater for. Plater has such insane. It's almost like boss mods now, and I haven't used it nearly as much as I should. You can make a sound. You see, like that same mechanic too. You can make a sound for any of these dangerous frontals, and then you'll never be in front of him like he is there, and he is going to get stunned into that swirl. So, yeah, so just recommend what's the actual Quelling Strike? I'd recommend going to Quelling Strike and making a sound for it, and just making it harder to miss. You know what I mean? Because honestly, it's really it's easy to miss. I think it is. These abilities are like, as you just saw, there's like a million things happening at once. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely think about it, honestly. So these kind of things really help. Yeah, and then somebody tells him to run back, like maybe it's already getting a little he's probably getting a little nervous already. You just gotta let stuff like this not bother you, because you are gonna die. I think my tip would be for that is just always just run back no matter where you are. But I know Cop does have some issues with navigating. Usually like 9 times out of 10 running back is safe. There's like every once in a while in dungeons where running back will be really detrimental, but I don't really know if, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's whatever. I think I don't know. It could go either way. I don't want to say always run back, because then there's times where you run back and you're in trouble, but this dungeon is definitely going to be, probably that's going to be part of the issue. So doing a lot of chain pulling here. It's a 16, not the hardest thing I've ever seen, but I assume this is going to be a problem for him because he has trouble keeping up when packs are not dying evenly. So far so good though. I know a lot of people oh, we got hit by another frontal there. See that tank mechanic, it's always going to be on, it's from the Guardian construct, okay? It's always going to be on the tank, like positioned on the character. So that's why I think it's really important to know where it is. Step one. or know what's happening, I guess, step one. Same thing with Quelling Strike. That'll always face the tank. That's just a standard frontal, so just don't be in front of the mobs. And that's that. We are going to pull some of the trash on the right, which, yeah, not a big fan of. We talked about this a bunch in this in the last few months, but and we get hit by another frontal. That's the bound energy. Ideally, you won't fight more than one of these in the dungeon, but if you're fighting them, the bound energy does a frontal as well. And now let's see the navigation on the way back. Oh, those birds. Okay, we're good. I thought they might aggro, but yeah, I think this is gonna be fine. We'll get back. The pack's dead already. Trash is getting slaughtered. This is Tyrannical Week? I don't even know. Okay, so now it looks like maybe he's a bit confused about what we're doing now, but yeah, either way, I was gonna use an augment runes. Sounds good. All right, here's the boss time. So big DPS here. Obviously, this should be the first bloodlust of the dungeon, but we don't actually have bloodlust coming out. The hunter is the only lust in the dungeon, so that's not great. But okay, you can't play the hunter for him. Just jumping here, moving away. A little bit of an aggressive roll there. Now, if those mobs were not aggroed, that would have aggroed trash, and we would probably wipe. So, uh, this is a problem that not necessarily something that is exclusive to cop, but this I've been talking about this for months now. Like having so much mobility that actually hurts you. I think that's a good case right there because that's simply just move your character like 1 yard, and you're out of the mechanic. We don't need to roll out of that, at times it's going to be fine, but other times you might end up hurting yourself from doing that. So I think that case was luck right there, to be honest. Like a lot of people will not pull the trash to the right. This is always a dangerous, kind of a precarious spot to tank. There's not really anywhere else you can tank. Looks like you can also remove this with that monk. I don't know if he even has the spell. I don't even know the names of the spells, but I know there's a spell. It's called Dampen Harm. No, that's a different one. Diffuse Magic. It looks like you can just straight up remove that with Diffuse Magic. So I would imagine that would be valuable. All right, so we're just going to go the standard route here, which I'm fine with. Certainly in a lower key, we have no need to get fancy, but I think even in higher keys, this route is more valuable than people make it sound. You can pull a lot of trash around this area too. All right, so nobody interrupts that, and he just dies. So that one is definitely not Cop's fault. That's pretty ridiculous, honestly. Let's go back and look at that. That is use a defensive, or you could dispel. Are you joking? That is definitely not Cop's fault. Dude, this is how clueless people are in low keys, man. Okay, yeah. Well, actually, to be honest, nobody. Wait, why can nobody interrupt? Oh my god, look at this. Wow, I didn't even notice this. Can you even see this? Hold on. Barely. Here, we move the camera. Look at that. Every single person tries to interrupt that. All 5 people try to interrupt. So then nobody has an interrupt for suppress, and the healer doesn't know it's dispellable, as you're going to be able to tell in a second here when he tells the tank or the DPS who's stunned by the mechanic to use a defensive. Use a defensive. No. That's not how that works, buddy. Incorrect. That's not how that works. Now, here we go. This is probably where it starts getting a little bit messy. Cop releases, and he's just has no idea where he's going, I think. See if there's any commentary. I've already sped it up, though, so.
It's not, though. Cross the bridge. Hang right.
Yeah, so he doesn't actually. I don't really know how to help this. Like, I actually know another person who's like this as well. And it's just like hard. Like, I try not to be like rude or anything, but like that's what the map's for. My advice is just like, I don't know about navigating. Yeah, so this is gonna get kind of hard to watch, I'm sure. But anyway, the hard part about navigating is simply just using the tools. I think like that's really all there is. Like, there's a mini map and a map for a reason. I don't know about navigating any more than that. Like it's not like I'm some natural savant that can like create landmarks in my head or something like that. It's simply just looking at where the pointed arrow on the mini map is and just following it. Now, I think the other problem is he doesn't actually know the layout of the dungeon. There's the group. Wow, I never noticed that. He's gonna like try to like jump down there. Based on the chat, it seems like he's getting really stressed here. So this is unfortunate. Like, I will say, like, I think a lot of people would probably look at this and be like, yeah, you can't really do Mythic Plus if this is gonna happen, If it was me, I would I would be like, if let's put it this way, if I was in a group and somebody was gone for like 5 minutes or whatever it's been, I would be making a video about them. So let's just put it that way. But I can't actually see his mini map. It is under his camera, but he can see it. Now they're over there fighting the imps or something. This is gonna get even squirrelier. I don't know how he plans on getting across there, but he doesn't. He doesn't know how to navigate. That's fucking clueless healer who's telling him to use defensive when the mechanic needs to be dispelled is now putting even more pressure on him. So that doesn't help. But he did navigate. That's good. He made it there good. That can be like a little bit of a stressful jump no matter what, because there's that pat. I think this is the pat though. They've killed it now. I think so. No, yeah, nothing problematic. It's just I don't know what to say. Like if anybody knows anybody else like this, like and you've helped them in the past, let me know. I don't know how to help somebody with this. This to me is not WoW. You know what I mean? This is just outside the game issues, so I don't know what to do about that. And like I said, I know one other person like this as well, so I have a vested interest in trying to find a way. But all right, so yeah, we're just gonna keep clearing here. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. Did we miss a mini boss? I don't think so. I think all the mini bosses are still alive. Yeah, we were just clearing some trash while we get over here. One thing I will say though is the Masu, you see he's lost. You probably could have pulled the bridge pack to make it easier for him. But realistically, that's not his responsibility either. So we're gonna grab this. In terms of tanking, I would definitely recommend grabbing some of this trash together, especially on lower keys. Is it fortified? I can never tell by the icon. I don't like this new Mythic Plus thing that everybody's using. I see the icons for the affixes, but I can't actually tell which I think that's fortified, right? Tyrannical is the one that looks like a watcher, the face like of a titan, right? So I think it is fortified, but the trash is getting slaughtered. Like we're destroying this dungeon. So definitely good for I guess sanguine maybe is a problem. Don't actually know who can get that book, but monk cannot. I think it's like demon hunter or maybe paladin or something. And then again, same thing here with this mini boss. Like we can pull extra trash into this mini boss. The big question mark is just where the other enforcer is going to spawn. Basically, like once you see that you're going to be clear, whether that's you tank the mini boss in a certain spot or you see the enforcer spawn in a non-threatening spot, then yeah, you can just go ahead and grab more trash. And I think it's vital to upgrading this key like comfortably. That really saves a lot of time. And the trash in here is very, very straightforward. Like the mini bosses are not the hard part. It's usually the enforcers. So once you got this, you're good. Just don't ever fight too many bosses at once. Made that mistake before. So now we're going to go across looking for more enforcers. So pretty straightforward. I mean, honestly, dude, this is going very well. Like, I know I have some things I'm going to say at the end here, but like I can already tell we're in that same boat. That is not line of sightable. I don't know what that strategy was there. I was using the edge to line of sight. This statue does not. That does not work. Oh, look at Seismical said the same thing in the chat. That's actually funny. Like, that's actually clever. Like, I never would have tried that. Oh, don't stop trying it. What are you doing? Cop. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry to. I just want to give him a hug. It didn't work the first two times. So, to me, that's like a UI clarity issue, right? Like, you got to release before the mini boss spawns. He doesn't know. No. He doesn't want to release because he's scared that he's going to have to run back again. But they can't res him because, oh, they got the res off. Okay, forget it. Forget it. That's a release there for sure because you're literally just on the other side of the dungeon. You just run right over. But I know he didn't release because he was scared about navigating the dungeon again. But yeah, like I was saying about the UI clarity, like it puts a dot on you. You can actually see on the frames up here and probably like anywhere else that you would monitor dots. So yeah, you got the dot twice. The statue clearly not working. The point of line of sighting is so you don't take the dot. Maybe it's not clear. You want to make sure that you line of sight because that dot is really punishing. And not only is it punishing, but it's like impossible to heal. It's like so difficult to heal on all 5 people. So if all 5 people got hit by it every time, that would be like the hardest mob in the game to actually heal through. It's kind of funny though that Blizzard like made that and like the only counterplay is just basically just line of sight, right? Like it's really the only counterplay. We can also do a lot more with ring. I don't do we even have it? This week, this not the the week that of the recording is like a really 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 good week for Ring. But yeah, we got too many bosses down, so we're gonna go back to the other side now. It looks like. I think for the most part, this is a very easy key. Yeah, really like I think Cop's assessment was somewhat accurate. There's not even a single mistake. We don't need to run in there. I think he's following the NPCs, thinking they're going in there. I've done that before. I think like you see like people running, but it's actually just NPCs. They're running as like a bit of an RP, like they're scared. You know what I mean? So just playing a lot safer on that mechanic. You can just use this little angle here. I would tank it much differently if I like tanking it right in front of the door and then using the door because it's a lot it's a guaranteed win condition, but when it's that far away, then you can't really, as you see, you did less damage than the tank that time. So that's a lot of DPS to lose to be running that far. Shockwave low frontal, so we're dodging that. They added like they added some visual to it, but it's only after it hits for some reason, and we're gonna get hit by that and get one shot. So again, another frontal. Frontals are definitely the bane of Cop and many DPS. Frankly, not just him. Many DPS have trouble. I wonder how many deaths this is. That's the other thing you can't. There's only 6 deaths, so run back. You cannot run back. This guy's, dude. I want to just slap this guy. See, this is why people get anxiety, dude. This is why people get anxiety because some fucking brain dead dude. Look at that. Can't you told me to run back. I can't. It's physically impossible to run back. Oh, okay, then just don't die in the first place. Fucking great advice, bro. Great advice. Really, thanks for that. That's really helpful. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. This is why people have anxiety in the first place. This is why people fear pugging. And my advice, dude, is just that guy's a fucking idiot. Like he really is. I mean, frankly, like he doesn't even he's telling somebody to use a defensive when he's the only person who could deal with the mechanic. The player is stunned. He physically cannot press his defensive spells, and he's telling him to do something other than I'm going to dispel the mechanic that will save your life. You know what I mean? Like you can't take that person's advice, right? Like they don't even know their own responsibilities in the dungeon. That you can't you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to be fair here, but like that's just not somebody you can respect. So as soon as you can like compartmentalize that, like, okay, this guy is like making me feel pressured and making me feel anxiety, but he's just wrong. Oh, well, that's really bad. Oh no. Oh my god. He doesn't know what happened there either. I could tell by his reaction. Yeah, that's kind of rough. But yeah, anyway, my point is that just try not to let these people who barely know what they're talking about get in your head because pretty bad to let them, there's just no reason to. They need to be introspective as much as anybody. But yeah, so this fire is. I'm surprised he survived it the first time. If you run into this fire, you get one shot, as you famously might have known from my stream this last week. But yeah, no, that's a different story. But look at the damage. I mean, this guy's doing 78k. Hunter's doing 70k. I don't know if these are people like coming in to help him or what, but 16. Yeah, people are blasting. I mean, this is like a crushed. This like a double upgrade, dude. Honestly, like if Cop just didn't have all these issues, this is a double upgrade. So yeah, it's really couldn't go any better outside of the small mistakes. But I think you can learn a lot from this key because these very minor mistakes, and I want to talk a little bit about the psychology here as we end. I assume this is the end of the mistakes, but um, so like let me just read one more time. Like let me just read what he said again because to me this is very important. He says it's the worst key I have ever run. I need to rewatch it to see my mistake so it never happens again. Outside of that, no one should ever look at it. And it's like, I mean, this is I actually did there was like a video about somebody submitting one where the guy said that he like flubbed the key or whatever he would say, like he was the reason for it. He played a healer, and the tank did like everything possible wrong, like literally everything possible wrong. But then at the very end, the healer aggroed trash that he shouldn't have aggroed at the wrong time, and it caused a wipe. So I think that's a good micro. I think you're seeing the same thing here, right? When you're gonna put yourself in this position of extreme blame, when things don't even go wrong, right? Like, I mean, this is an upgrade. I know he told me this is an upgrade before I started, so I already knew that, but like, this is an upgrade. This is one of the easiest dungeons ever. It just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? None of this matters. Like, you got to look at it that way. I think that's really crucial to breaking anxiety and breaking, mental blocks in general. You should only ever have anxiety about something that actually matters. And, I get it. There's different types of anxieties. For me, I always have performance anxiety. That's my thing. Like, I always have in a game or in like golf or something like that. My issue is performing. I don't necessarily care about the social in that aspect as much, although in some times it does overlap. I have separate social anxiety. So it's like depending on what. Like, I don't even really feel like Cop's like anxious. Like, he's pretty calm when it comes to playing. Look at this again, Monk. Don't get hit by this stuff. Don't get hit by stuff on this boss. I mean, I can see why you would say that, but it's like, is that's the other Monk? Of course it is. Who else would it be? Who else would it be? I mean, I get it, but I'm telling you right now, guys, if you're in this position and you're playing with somebody who's clearly struggling, dude, the worst thing you can do is just keep talking about it. Okay. So, like, to be honest, dude, if it was anybody but Cop, I could see this person leaving the key out of shame. For as embarrassed and as stressed out as Cop is, he's not gonna leave. You know what I mean? So it's just frustrating because, yeah, people lack that basic understanding of what's going through people's heads in their own group. You got 5 minutes left, dude. This is a fucking joke key, and this guy's continuing to put pressure on one of his group mates. So what, dude? What happens if he dies? You're gonna still upgrade the key, dude. He could be dead for the whole fight, and you still upgrade this key, right? It's a freaking 16 fortified, dude. I think we're okay. Just don't say this stuff, man. Like, it's so obvious to me, but people's ego, they just can't stop, Like, well, I'm such a better player than him. I got to make him feel worse about himself. Non-productive. I mean, you don't gain anything from it. What do you gain from it? If your goal is to upgrade the key, all you do is make that harder. And you see now he's like backpedaling out of melee range so he doesn't get hit by stuff. Like, you just made him play worse. All that comment does is make the player play worse. Doesn't help. Nobody's ever gonna be like, good tip. I won't get hit by stuff now. Oh, what is all that? A lot of movement. It's hard to like tell what's the spells. Like, animations look different when you're a Nightborn, but yeah, just to Cop, bro. I would just tell you, like, none of the things you did wrong here matter, but they are pretty egregious in terms of the timer. So I don't know how to solve it. I really don't. Obviously, we've talked about this for months, years, really at this point. Just navigation in general is. And I think we put ourselves in this position where we're taking like months off the game. You know what I mean? It's not helping either. Quarter Star is almost gone. You know what I mean? So we're almost 4 months into the season now, and you never learned how to navigate the dungeon. I just think in general, just get more reps. Don't be scared. He gets Keystone Master here, guys. So you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Frankly, he got carried through this dungeon, like dramatically carried, as you see. His overall DPS is lower than the tank, so I'm not going to not going to front about that. That's a bad performance, but it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, there's two other players DPSing in the group for a reason, right? So it just doesn't matter. Like, that's the truth. It's the truth. It really is. It's the facts of the situation. Now, can you bring those same mistakes to a 20 and upgrade it? No, of course not. But it's just the truth. So just always think about that. If you have anxiety, if you feel like you're not performing well, like if it's performance based anxiety, just think of it that way. Do the mistakes I make actually matter? I have to say that to myself in golf all the time. It's just not true. You know what I mean? 90% of the time, you make it harder for yourself than it should be. And you're putting more pressure on yourself than anybody else ever would, or the sport ever would, or the activity ever would. Like, these situations, most of it's just moving. That's it, start to finish. The frontals are just moving. Use Plater. Let's talk if you need help. I will help with Plater. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But it's very, very, very easy to set up now. You just go into the spell. There's like a spell list. You just find the spell, type it in there, and you add a horn sound or some noise to it. You'll never miss these things again. And then, other than that, just move your character around the map. That's it. Those are the only actual mistakes in this run. Everything else is a joke. I assume all the deaths are him. I think there was one death. The hunter died, or somebody. I saw the Mistweaver die, but And then just try not to let these guys who like barely know what they're talking about put any more pressure on you. Like, I mean, in other games, I would just straight up remove the chat. Like if it was, if you're having trouble with that, dude, just remove the chat. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you'll be, supportive of Cop. He's dealing with a lot. So, but feel free to leave some comments on ways that he can improve, and hopefully we'll have a healthy discussion on this.